Happy Equinox, everyone. This is Vidette. I'm actually in my car at the moment waiting for an appointment, and I wanted to do an Equinox video for you to just give you my perspective of what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing energetically around this equinox day. So this is the day of the year in the northern hemisphere where the days start getting longer. More light is coming in. We move into spring. Things start to bloom. Things start to come into fruition. We start to see the manifestation of the inner work of the darker months of the year that we go into. So there's a lot of metaphors in there that match the seasons here in the northern hemisphere. For the summer hemisphere, this is the day where the days get shorter and you start moving into the darker months, the winter months, where you go and cocoon in, do the inner work, hunker down. And so it's interesting, there's that balance in our planetary energy that mother nature, that source has given us. So it's funny because the sun just started coming out. It's been raining and gray here for weeks now, so it's the sun is such a welcome being at the moment. So going back to we're in this balance, and although it doesn't feel like the world is very balanced, that is ours, who are ours meaning the pioneers of consciousness, those of us who are in tune with the elevation of consciousness that's happening. We're in tune with our own evolution. We're in tune with the healing process. Healing comes, from within and then reflects without. So as we move into these longer days, whether they're longer in the dark or longer in the light, we are using, wherever we are using that energy to our advantage. Currently, at the moment, today is March 20th, 2023. There is an influx of light. We had a couple of solar flares in the evening last night. And I will tell you, I slept really well. I did have some dreams that were very, very poignant, very, what's the word I want? They were very clear. And I woke up, but they were clear, but they weren't, up and down emotionally. I just kind of was an observer of them. And I take that as how I perceive that is the energies of these that we're in now, of this, the flares of this increased light that we're getting. The Schumann resonance showed a pretty large spike in energies coming in yesterday. So it's really taking us into a point of calibration. And if you think of what comes to mind is when you think of a compass, if you move the compass, before it calibrates to the direction you're in, it kind of goes back and forth like this before it then magnetizes to the direction that you're looking. It felt like that overnight for me. And that tells me that that's kind of the cohesive collective energy, that the energies that are coming in are helping us just kind of find our true north, calibrate to our direction. So just really pay attention to that. I have some notes that I took of what I wanted to cover. Yesterday in the morning, I put out an invitation to my Storehouse Social group. And this is a group of individuals who come together who are wanting to have a deeper conversation on consciousness, on healing. And this is a group that I put out invitations to so we can collectively come into resonance of the energies. So I put out an invitation for us to come together for a supernal channel reading, which really is an opportunity for us to all tune into the energies. And if you think of a community, if you think like I'm here, you're here, you're here, you know, someone else is here, someone else is here, but where two or more are gathered, we have more perceptivity or perception of the energy. So if we all are in resonance because we come together in this community that is intentionalizing a higher expression of life, intentionalizing a more spiritual approach to life, we're intentionalizing an elevation in our own sacred wellness. So we are all resonating together. Therefore, when we come together and start reading into or feeling into the energies that we're in, my perception here comes together with your perception here, comes together with someone else's. So we're almost covering a more cohesive space in our collective energy. So it gives us more perspective on the energies. So I like to do that from time to time, and I'm going to be doing it more in Storehouse Social, and you have an invitation to come and join us. I do have, it's a free community, and then there is an upgrade for some of the more of the gatherings that we're going to be having here moving forward. So if you'd like to join us, the link is in the bottom here or in the description. But we did do a group channel reading yesterday, and I want to just share some of the highlights of what came up, because this is definitely what I am feeling in my own world, and we will see collectively. Now, we will see this if we are looking for it, because this week is going to be highly polarized in the collective. There's a lot of speculation about things going on in the political world this week. We see a lot of just a lot of turmoil going on in the lower realms of the energetic world that we live in. So if you look there, you are going to find that there's a lot of density, a lot of chaos, a lot of polarity. However, remember, we are a different breed of individuals. We are individuals who are looking to see a new earth. We are looking to create a new higher consciousness of living. So we are the ones that must balance out that chaos by looking for some of these energetic and physical manifestations that will be available for us this week when we tap into this equinox energy. So here's what came up on the equinox, what's the word I want? I just used it. Projection of what we have available to us in these energies. So the first thing that came up is that luck is definitely on our side. So what do we mean by luck? We mean that we are manifestors, we are creators. So when we are in the intentionality of creating that which we want, we start to see that things appear along the way to lead us to the organization and the materialization of those intentions. And as we come across those things on our path, all of a sudden it seems like, oh my gosh, how did that happen? I can't believe I just met that person. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was just offered that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I was just invited to that. It will look as if it's luck. It will look as if these synchronicities start to happen. These synchronicities are fully aligned to appear in your world in this week, around this equinox, in the next couple of days, if you are paying attention. The lower realms of the world are going to attempt to distract you from that with all of the chaos. So this is where we have to really pull back our energy from that world, not get involved in what will most likely be an opportunity to be in polarity with a collective that is very much attached to what is happening in the physical world. We are intentionalizing and we are tuning into what's happening in our inner world. And when we find that peace, when we find the inspiration, when we find that creation energy, we are then projecting that out into the world so that we can balance out, or the polarization that is going to be very much intentionally thrown into our world. So we have to be the ones to hold the higher consciousness this week. And as we do that, our rewards come in the form of synchronicities, of luck, of just beautiful moments when we just like light up and our hearts expand with beautiful expressions of love and joy and happiness and laughter. Isn't that amazing? I can use much more of that in my world. Not that my world is bad, but like I am constantly on the evolutionary track to just have things expand with more joy and more excitement and more laughter every single moment of every single day. That's my intention. However that wants to come up, however that comes up as far as synchronicities, it could be that we meet a teacher. That was the other part that came up in the reading, is there will be, in these lucky incidents, we will have teachers show up. Now, how that is really, how that, as we went deeper into that, we can think of, oh, a teacher along our path, whether that be a literal new mentor, but also teachers show up in different ways, right? We can be sitting outside watching a bird, and this just happened to me, so that's why I'm using this example. But I was just watching this bird kind of do his thing and hop around, and he was eating and pecking around, and just like, and then he just started chirping, and in that moment, like I just felt this connection with this bird, and it was just pure joy. It was pure joy, because I swear we were talking. I was just telling him, I was just saying, thank you for the joy that you're bringing me in this moment. I'm watching you, just go about your day. You're just in the moment, in this moment. And as you go, along your day, you just happen to settle down right in front of me where we get to connect. So I had this whole conversation with this bird this morning, and it flew off, and then I kind of giggled at myself and was like, oh, you're such a, funny person having this conversation with the bird. But at the same time, it was then all of a sudden I remembered our reading that last night in Storehouse Social, and I thought, oh, that was the magic, that was the luck. I got to experience this experience of joy, of pure, like I was giggling with this bird. So these teachers show up to offer us a reminder of the important things in life. Teachers may also come appear to you in the form of a human, of an angel. One of the ladies that was on the reading last night, she shared just she had some mechanical issues on her RV, and this gentleman showed up, a Mexican man who couldn't speak English, but his son was with them. So it turns out that this gentleman could fix her RV, and the son was translating for them. And he would not, the man fixed the problem and wouldn't even take any money from her. And she was trying to give him money, and he just said no. So here was the lesson that she took from that. This angel showed up to help her in kind of a desperate moment. She couldn't go anywhere. She is traveling through the country with her two daughters in this RV. So this man shows up, fixes it, and then wouldn't take any energy, any money from her. So what she learned is this is her time of receptivity. This is our time, and we all just went, oh. She and I just sat there and went, the gifts that are showing up, the magic, the luck that is open to us to receive in this equinox energy is the law of receptivity. How much of your energy have you given over your lifetime? How much do you constantly give in empathy and compassion and in patience, and also in caring for others? A lot. If you are here, you're like me. You are like my friend that was on this reading as well. We have given and given and given, and we are switching into the pole shift of experience now, where we receive, but we have to be open and aware of what is in front of us to receive. That bird gave me something to receive. This man who couldn't even communicate with my friend pretty much was giving so that she could receive. And the other part of the reading yesterday was, we like the receptivity, the experience of heart expanding moments is at our fingertips. Therefore, how do we get there? How do we do that? We have to be open to receiving. And receiving is probably one of the harder things for many of us who are givers. But sometimes we have to balance that out. If we constantly give and give and give, we are giving of our energy, but nothing is filling us back up. We have to be willing to be filled, to receive, and to allow others the chance, the opportunity, and the gift of giving. So this is where we really look for opportunities in the next few days throughout this week to receive. We are going to be receiving influxes of light. I do project that we will be getting more solar flares throughout today, throughout tomorrow, because the light, we've got a portal of light that is open on this equinox. So I believe that source, our source of sun, is going to intentionally be giving us light into that portal. It's going to be pouring forth, and that is for us to receive. And for the denser beings, it is going to be an influx of light that could bring some more opportunities to purge, to awaken, to become aware of some of the things that are going to be polarizing within themselves, as well as polarizing in the world. For others, like us, this is our opportunity to receive that light, and with that light brings the opportunity to become aware of, to awaken to experience more light-hearted expansion kind of energies. The other thing too is, one more thing I want to share as well. Intuition seems to be quieting down. And I've had that I was talking about that yesterday on our group call. Over the last year, my intuition, my experience within has been very intense, very mystical, very loud and clear. So the communication, my universal communication, my supernal channel has been filling me with a lot of beautiful experiences with my team, that I call them, my spirit guides. However, since I have physically moved into a new location on this planet, I am fully surrounded by nature. And if you've been here for any amount of time, you know where I was in Saranda, Albania. I mean, nature was pretty prevalent as far as the sea and the water, but the surroundings was very chaotic. It was very loud. So I had to really I didn't have nature to nurture me. I only had my inner relationship to nurture me. So now I'm understanding that that's where I was in that moment. So I was in that moment of time. So I was given more of the experience of inner entertainment, so to speak, but it wasn't entertainment. It was more inner communication. Since I've gotten into the mountains, surrounded by nature, everything has been quiet, and that's been frustrating to me, because I'm like, where are y'all? Like, what's going on? But I finally got that answer, and the answer to it is that intuition may seem to be quieting if you are getting to a more how do I want to put this? A higher quotient of light, a higher quotient of frequency. So by clearing out all of the densities that I did, I'm just going to give you my own personal experience here to kind of give it some practicality. Over the last 2 years, I put myself into a position to really do some intense inner work. So that has been starting to kind of clear. I'm not experiencing as much of the emotional and mental density that I had. I feel like a lot of that has been purged. And I've talked about my, my physical body is feeling more of a purging as it then releases the toxicity and the physical manifestations of that emotional mental purge over these last couple of years. So I know I'm comfortable with the discomfort in my body because I know what's happening. However, when I got here and got surrounded by nature, everything started to kind of balance out. My inner world was in peace. My outer world now reflected that. The silence at night that I hear it's not deafening, it's just so overwhelming. Whereas this, the silence in my previous world in Albania was just noise all the time. It was just noise. So my inner world now reflects my outer world. And when we are fully in peace within and without, intuition, we start to calibrate more at a higher level. So we don't require these, we just calibrate to intuition. We calibrate to our higher self. Therefore, intuition is your higher self, leading you forward to the more expansive way of life. Therefore, what I'm experiencing and what I believe is happening now for many of us who have been on the healing journey, who are kind of almost coming to a completion, which was another topic in the reading that came up yesterday. This moment of and listen, we're never really done, but majority, when you have a project, there's like the intense part of it, but then you start to wind down. We're winding down on the mental and emotional piece and just allowing our outer world now to start reflecting that which we have calibrated to, which is inner peace, inner joy. We can find contentment with where we are. We can find peace with where we are, even if there's a part of your life that's still not fully expressing your inner peace. There's a part of your life that still feels a little chaotic. It's not quite right, but you're at peace with it. You know that it is working itself out. So even though you may not have like full joy in all aspects, you're at peace with where you are. And when you are at peace and you just allow that part of your world to organize and materialize into the reflection of your inner peace, you just kind of sit back and allow it to go. You're not going to be getting those intense, intuitive, mystical experiences as much because they are just going to be part of your everyday world now. That's where the magick, that we talked about, is just going to become more and more prevalent and more normal in your life, because you're calibrating to those higher frequencies now. You're grounded. You're grounding them down into the physical. You have a higher consciousness, and the higher the consciousness, the higher you are in communication. So when you're really dense, but you find like a portal of, you dense in like mental, emotional, physical stuff, but you have those moments where you are in peace and you connect to your higher self and you have these beautiful mystical experiences. They seem so intense, you want more of it, but it's simply because you were able to connect to that supernal channel. You were able to connect to that higher frequency. But when that portal kind of goes away, or life starts to get back, you become aware of where you are in your life and you drop back down into the density. So you have these denser experiences, but then you bounce up into these higher experiences. But as you heal, you start releasing those densities, you rise up, and then you start to calibrate at those higher frequencies, which is exactly what we're doing, which is exactly what raising our higher consciousness has done for us. Do the work that you've done in shedding all the densities. Now we're operating up here in that new earth frequency, and we're getting higher and higher, so we don't need as much of those up and down intense mystical experiences, because life becomes more mystical. we become more, joy-filled, grateful for things. So I hope that makes sense. I'm hoping we're calibrating higher, so we're just operating more in the expression of our higher self. So now this is the point that we have been working towards, to live as our higher self in peace and in joy, no matter what the physical 3D world throws at us, because I do believe it's going to be throwing out some chaos this week, and obviously as it gets more and more dense, it is going to work really hard to keep itself alive. But the denser beings, the denser systems, the harder they fight, the more we can see that they're going to die out. So there's going to be a lot of death in a lot of ways over these next few years, simply because anything or anyone that is just living and won't let go of the densities are not going to be able to survive in these higher frequencies. So those who awaken to that density within and start doing the work that we have been already doing for a long time, they'll start to rise up. They'll start to go through the same, remember there's waves. We've been talking about these waves for a long time. The next wave of people are going to awaken and say, okay, it's time to get healthier in all aspects of my life. How do I do this? And they start to understand and adopt a more spiritual way of living. And that is when we, as those who have already embraced that way of life, start to just support the world by being in our more spiritual, higher consciousness, to support the evolution and the awakening of those who are just now awakening. So it's a really, really important time right now. It's a really, really important day to hold a higher consciousness. No matter what happens, hold the higher consciousness. Look for the luck, the synchronicities, the beauty, the joy, the inspiration, the creation in your world. Just tune into that. Like, this is the time where you shut your eyes, you shut your ears, you shut all of your senses out to that denser world, and just simply allow yourself to be in your own little world of happiness, of the new earth consciousness. So that is what I've got for you. We had a beautiful session yesterday. So again, I'm going to invite you. This is an invitation that, you got free will, but I'd like to invite you to Storehouse. We are going to be starting here in maybe 2 weeks. We're still waiting for journals to be delivered, but we are going to be starting a 369 group, where Tesla said, Nikola Tesla, it may not be the exact words, but he said something to the effect of, if you know the magnificence of 369, you unlock the keys to the universe of manifestation. So we are going to put that to the test. We are going to experiment with the 369 process of manifestation by having a group come together with these journals, 369, and we are these Project 369 journals, and we're going to work our way with our intentions through this process. And where two or more are gathered, there I am. So this group is going to support each other in the manifestation of our intentions. So that's one thing that's going on in there. Also, in Storehouse Social, we're going to be doing more of these supernal channel readings, because I love them, and I think that they are very eye-opening when we do come together as a group. And I think that I feel very, very strongly that they elevate us pretty quickly in the hour that we spend together discussing a common theme, and seeing everybody's perspective, bringing those puzzle pieces together. And at the end, we have more of a puzzle put together where we have more understanding, more awareness, and higher consciousness. So it's an extremely healthy practice to do, and I'm going to be facilitating more of those as well. So come on over to Storehouse Social. The link is in the description. And if you're wanting to live a more spiritually aligned life with your soul and your being, your higher self, this is where we support you in doing that, and you can talk about it openly, because majority of the world is still, you know, rolling their eyes and thinking spiritual living is taboo. But quite frankly, that's the main operating system that we were given. That's who we are, and that is the pole shift that we're making to go to from physical living up to spiritual living. And how we live spiritually, it drips down mentally, emotionally, and physically into our multidimensional world. So that is it. Thank you all so much for being here, for being a part of this beautiful journey that we're on. I appreciate you, and I will see you on the next Peace Talks. Mwah. Have a good one.